Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com, which is over there. We do have a special coupon code that is active, and it will work on both the monthly and yearly memberships. We do have a question and answer session coming up Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time this weekend. So love to see you there. If you're a member, and if you're not, you want to join, become a member and use that coupon if you'd like. All right, let's dive in and take a look, see what is going on today. And again, starting with the DXY, I'm still in the camp that this can still go higher. That is not off the table yet. We're at kind of a decision point here. We're in this falling wedge that generally breaks higher, but we are starting to play with the underside of the rising support channel, which is that blue line coming up there. See that? So we're kind of intersecting right at support where we are at this moment. It's a possibility that we get a jump higher before heading lower, where we jump up here this way and create some other pattern before rolling over and diving lower. There's also the possibility that this falling formation just drops to the downside. And generally speaking, at least historically, and I'm not saying going forward that historical relationship will be the same, but generally when rates go down, the dollar falls, and when rates go up, the dollar goes up. Right now, we have a flat dollar with rates going slightly higher today. The 2 years up 0.5%, but we've been in a short-term downtrend. Momentum is still to the downside of that downtrend. We're in a larger pattern. We've got resistance that is above us here. So there's that resistance that's slightly above us, and we're squeezing into a corner here. We haven't made a decision. I'm in the camp where you could probably go higher because we entered this downward pattern from the downside up. So this is a consolidation on a move higher, would be my guess. 10-year yield up 0.64% today. There we are. We're still sitting on top of the pattern. That is still a bullish formation, my opinion. And then the 30-year is up 0.73%. Again, we're in bullish formations to go higher on yields. Higher yields. These are all downward-facing consolidation patterns. Bond prices are lower today, down 0.64%. This could be a rising pattern, like a flag pattern, which is upward-facing, and that generally breaks lower, which means rates go up. So that's kind of my read on that. And then the longer, bigger picture view, we've got downward facing pressure ever since we peaked out here and broke the uptrend line. We could bounce and go higher, but we don't see evidence of that yet. The 2 and the 10 chopping sideways. Today, it's down 0.07, 0.1% or so. Slowdowns generally are a signature of this dropping rapidly. Like that there, this one there, this one there. Each one of these big moves to the downside represents a slowdown in the market. So that's what we're watching for, but it hasn't transpired yet. Doesn't mean it can't. So that's what we're watching there to see if the yield curve drops rapidly. TYX, TNX ratio moving up slightly, just ever so slightly. So the dollar sideways, we've got TYX, TNX ratio, which is down ever so slightly. Gold's getting hit pretty hard here. Gold's down $64. We're still in the uptrend and above that. And we'll see if we get a reversal tomorrow or if we punch out of that uptrend line. So we'll it just takes time. We'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but next week, I should say. Silver is down minus 1.31%. Getting a little bit of selling pressure up here today. But again, we're above $35 an ounce, which is a pretty good support level. Platinum's getting hit hard, down 4.66%. They raised margin requirements. I think it was 25% today. Usually when they raise margin requirements, you see large selling pressure days like we have today. It is basically leverage coming out of the system. So as expected, if they raise the margin requirements, and they raise this to slow down the move, it is done on purpose, in my opinion. I think this is the second one. I think one of these was also a margin requirement raise. Palladium up ever so slightly. A little bit of selling pressure with the big wick. But again, we're in an uptrend. Still looks okay. XE to gold ratio is down minus 2.18%. So gold and silver mining companies sold off more than gold itself, and gold was down about almost 2% today. So the mining companies were down greater than 2%, and we're still at a very cheap level. GDX was down 3.63%. And again, these aren't reversal candlesticks. They gapped down in the morning, and we're back closing that gap there. GDXJ also closing the gap today. And then SILJ right at support there with that gap closure as well. So it looks like that gap is getting closed, and we'll see if any momentum continues to the downside or if this uptrend continues and we have ourselves a little pattern that gets developed there. Crude oil down ever so slightly. I hate being next to gigantic selling pressure candlesticks like that. We've got the pattern there. We tried to break out here. That was that news around the war. And then it had the shellacking on the Trump tweet day where it reversed dramatically down to the downside. Now we're sitting at $65 a barrel. TTF gas down 3%. It's lost some mojo. I think it was a weather report or something that came out pushing it lower. But relaxed here for TTF. We had a falling wedge broken to the upside. That is upward, and we'll see if it gets reversed here. Falling below 31 would be the trick. Natural gas in America is up 5.9%. And we're still underneath that long-term resistance trend line that we're trying to break out of, which eventually I think we'll wear through it and move on up. But as of right now, we need to wait for the breakout. Our boy XOP, you know me, down slightly today. We had the rejection at resistance. That was the Trump tweet day where he said, don't buy oil, get out of it. Don't support Iran or something like that. Could be a head, shoulder that is developing, and we'll see if that is what develops. OIH down ever so slightly as well. This could also be a flag pattern where we could head lower back into support. Another possibility there in the short term. Newcastle coal futures still above support. We were up ever so slightly today. And that just looks okay today, is what I'll say. Looks all right. We did get some stronger selling pressure this week, and we'll see if there is follow-through in it. But it looks like to me that this is trying to bottom and turn up. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust up 0.43% today. A lot of the times you get these breakouts, they can potentially get a return move before heading higher. Again, another possibility, but we broke to the upside, so my view is up. The trend is up. Uranium futures pricing chopping sideways, but again, the trend is higher. It is upward. URA, the equities, a little bit of selling pressure today, down 1.65%. Could we get a consolidation here? Could we get a return move before going higher? All possible. Looking at it from a longer term view, this looks fantastic to rip higher. It looks fantastic. We've got URNM getting a little bit of selling pressure today, down 1.45. Still have that gap that's sitting there. It doesn't have to close, but lots of the times it does close. We've broken the downtrend. The trend is up. And then URNJ is at resistance. We're trying to break out. I'd like to see a big candlestick that breaks out of here. Start this big run once we get through it. What makes me more confident that it's going to happen is that URNM's already broken out and Sprott Physical Uranium Trust is broken out. So what makes you think that URNJ isn't going to run? That'd be a hard case to make in my opinion. Nickel up 2%. Hey, the buyers are coming in here. Let's go. Let's go. We've been getting selling pressure here. We've been just leaking sellers out. And we'll see if we can get some momentum generated to the upside here and try to break through. Very possible. We'll see if we can get it going. Copper's up 0.8%, looking pretty stellar there. We are entering all-time highs as we close into these areas. We're entering it almost at all-time highs on a close for a weekly basis. I think this looks good. We could see a big run out of copper here over time. It looks really good. COPX down 1.66%. The equities aren't following the move, at least not today, but we did have a pretty big day yesterday. A lot of the times you see a little bit of a small day, little red candlestick. I call it a bloody nose. And that's exactly what we got today. Lithium down 0.54, but again, we're starting to break through resistance. That is a good thing. Up is my opinion. We've got REMX also down slightly, but we've broken through the trend line. Sometimes you get return moves and a little bit of selling pressure, maybe a falling wedge. Sometimes we don't form those and they just run. The upward pressure bias, because we've broken the downtrend, is up. Iron ore. Iron ore still chopping sideways. That's what we're seeing and squeezing into the corner here. Eventually, I think it breaks up because we entered it from the bottom side up. Aluminum up 0.4%. It's looking better. Still moving on up. We're underneath resistance. 2,650 and slightly above that is resistance for aluminum. Baltic Dry Index down 7%, and I think that was probably yesterday. But down, and we're doing a return move. So a lot of times you break out of the pattern, and then you get a return move that comes back, and then you could potentially move higher. Emerging markets down slightly. Still looks good to go higher. The trend is up. We've got MU up 0.3%. Again, the trend is up. We're above the patterns here, so that's good. KRE down 0.05%. And we're at that neckline. Still looks good to go higher. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Small down day to day. XHB up 0.88 underneath resistance. We'll see if we can punch through that or not. Kind of a double bottom type deal maybe. Russell 2000 up ever so slightly, but still looks good to go higher. The S&P 500's up 0.52, looks good to go higher. That looks like an all-time high there, basically. And then the NASDAQ is also breaking through some resistance here potentially to move on higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average moving up, the index here. We do have kind of a squeezing up though, so we'll see if we can get up here, if that's a retest rollover, or if we can keep traveling higher. XLI, the industrial, is breaking out to new all-time highs. That's looking ridiculously good. I'm going to skip NVIDIA's at all-time highs, moving on up. Bitcoin right at resistance. We'll see if we can break this flag pattern to the upside, but that is a high likelihood going to move higher with support underneath us. This and I like this setup here. It's a flag pattern to move up. Ethereum right at resistance support. It's a flag pattern at the moment, and that is good to go higher. MicroStrategy down ever so slightly, but again, that's a flag pattern that looks good to go higher now. And then the VIX down minus 1.63% at the moment. And that's what we've got for today, guys. So that, give me a thumb, tap the thumb up, help me out. But that's all I've got really. Charts look pretty good across the board for a lot of different sectors, breaking to the upside, making new all-time highs. So looks good for them. And We've got a Sunday question and answer session coming up at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And that's all I've got. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.